Hey, you guys, how are you? I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom for the week of July 9th through the 15th of 2023. And thank you for your understanding, your patience, flexibility. As the summer months are here, my schedule's a little wacky. I took a little bit of time off, which was much needed. Even though I'll be out of office, just to put that pin on the map, I'll be out of office July 14th through the 30th, as I serve in my role as staff director for Nine Gates Mystery School. But it's work. I'm not just playing and taking time off. I'm actually working. So anyways, these last couple of weeks have been very refreshing, and I look forward to seeing how things are going to continue for the rest of us. I mentioned in a message to some of you about how we are all going through some pretty big initiations. And this is just life. Life constantly happens. And one of the things with Nine Gates that we do is it's a school of experience and invites the greatest teacher of all, which is the one that lives inside of us, to emerge and to let our inner wisdom really speak. And we use initiation in order to bring out more of that wisdom and more understanding, more character. And it's not always easy, but we are growing and we are evolving. And that's what's happening for us in life. Often those of us at Mystery School will talk about how we're contained in this little bubble for those 9 to 11 days that we're there. And we're going through our own personal initiations, or if we're working with our teams or things like that. And it's great because it gives us tools to be able to live the real mystery, which is life itself. And we can't always understand why we're going through some of the things we are, why something has happened, why are we here, things like that. But what we can do is that we can practice our tools, we can ground into ourselves, our right to be here as human beings, and we can emerge and we can grow and we can meet each moment in a different way, knowing that we have the power of choice. And that's probably a really good theme to start with for this coming week, as we have Mars in its last degree of Leo on Sunday, and the moon and Chiron will be canoodling in the sign of Aries. And it makes a very wide trine to Mars. But we've got this fiery energy going on at the beginning of the week. And we're finding courage, hopefully in this last moment, that courage to be able to live and speak our truth, to really express ourselves from the heart, and to be able to nurture those old wounds inside of us that are now able to be approached in a different way, because we have hopefully learned from our initiations that we've been through that it's like, here's a similar conversation, or here's a similar thought, or here's the way I would react in the past to this particular situation. Let me try it differently this time, because what I did before doesn't work now. And I'm not the same person I once was. And then we move into Monday when Mars enters Virgo and continues. Now, Mars is moving into an opposition with Saturn retrograde in Pisces. But Mars entering Virgo also starts to make a trine with Jupiter. So let's just recap real quick. Mars is the planet of fire. It's passion. It's that go energy, motivation, and also assertiveness or aggression. And yes, the god of war. So if our passions get too fiery, right, what can often happen? And Virgo is the sign of the Vestal Virgin, the one who wants to be of service, productivity, usefulness, being able to separate the wheat from the chaff. In other words, what's useful, what's not, and really bringing an attention to detail and using discrimination in order to make decisions, in order to find ourselves in a useful place. Now, also the shadow side with Virgo can be overly critical, and we can get stuck in the details. And with Mars here, you may not think these two could go together, but actually it can make us super productive, and it's a great time to get things done, and that we can be motivated by acts of service. So this is a great way that oftentimes for myself, if I go through moments where I feel a little heavy or depressive or unmotivated, I'm like, where can I serve? Where can I be of service? How can I be of service? And then that gets me out of that inertia. That gets me out of the weeds, if you will, and allows me to remember that the world is much bigger than my universe that I'm living in. What we'll look at too with Mars here in Virgo is what gets us out of bed, maybe checking off those lists. It might be getting in the weeds of a particular project and getting some things done, but do watch out for any over criticism or that nitpicking that can, if it's not communicated in a way that offers positive, constructive feedback, then it can create resentment or hard feelings for others and that sort of thing. So we could also turn our focus with Mars and Virgo here more towards health related issues or health related things, not necessarily issues. It may be like, hey, I need to join the gym finally, or I need to change my exercise routine and really set up a particular routine that benefits my health, maybe a change in my diet, things like that. And with this opposition to Saturn, we might vacillate between the practical versus the magical, because Saturn in Pisces has this wonderful healing quality, but it also may look for esoteric ways or more spiritual ways to heal ourselves or to have these health benefits. But this is a great time to set up a new spiritual routine if that's something that we've been ignoring for a while, and it will help our well-being. And I would say I would combine the spiritual with the practical, and that may be where we end up landing after this opposition starts to wane in a few days. So then on Tuesday, Mercury will enter Leo and Mars makes a trine to the North Node in Taurus. Now, again, let's talk about the basics here. Mercury being the planet of communication, of ideas, learning, how we process information, how we connect things, people, transportation, things like that. And Leo is a bold, direct, confident, dramatic, flamboyant, descriptive, right? So you put these two together, and we might actually find the courage with Mars trining the North Node to speak from our hearts in a really clear and direct way. And it's a great time for presentations, speaking engagements, being on a stage. I often think of wedding toast at this time. And this can happen even when Mars moves away from that trine to the North Node. But with Mercury and Leo, we have these creative juices that start to flow. So if you felt blocked or uninspired, that's been me for a little while, then this movement of Mercury can refuel us. If you've had that writer's block or you've just felt like you're a little introverted more than usual, this could offer you more connection, and doing it with people or with a creative flair. If you're like, I just need something, an outlet in which my mind can start to take over and have all kinds of fun things happening, Mercury and Leo could really have us doing that. It also can have us have real courageous conversations at this time. So if you've been putting off a conversation that really needs to happen, this is with Mercury and Leo, that can happen. Truth telling often happens. And I will say too that it'll probably have a nice descriptive or scripted kind of energy to it, a flowery energy. On Wednesday, the 12th, the moon is going to be dancing around with Jupiter, and then with Uranus, they're going to be canoodling here, the moon, Jupiter, Uranus. And then in Uranus is also going to make a sextile to the sun in Cancer. And so our emotions could be really heightened at this time, as well as our intuition. So this leads us up into our new moon in Cancer, which I'll talk about towards the end of this video. But pay attention, our intuition is going to start really peaking midweek and then moving into the weekend. So pay attention to the big messages coming at this time, but do take careful action. It's going to be one of those dances where you may feel an impulse to say something or do something because it's productive with Mars and Virgo here, but the invitation is to use that Mars and Virgo energy when the moon is compelling us, if you will, emotionally, and Jupiter's dropping in these big inspirational or big intuitive hits, to say, wait a minute, let me use my discrimination to decide if I can act on this. Is it useful for me to say it or do it? Then make those adjustments accordingly. Thursday, Mars will square the moon, Mercury's in Leo, sextiling the moon in Gemini. It could feel a little volatile as we may want to be seen and heard, and we feel like other people aren't listening at this time, fueling us to say something or do something, or it may feel like we're screaming in a vacuum, if you will, and nobody is paying attention. So that can create some irritation leading into Friday, as Mercury is going to be in conjunct Saturn. So we're going to want people to understand what we're saying, but they just might not get it. And Sun sextiling Uranus, anything goes. So it could be a little unpredictable, but the opportunities that come up, again, it comes back to how we meet them. What are we going to do with them? Can help us navigate that in a way that says, wait a minute, maybe I'll just create a little spaciousness for myself right now because somebody's in their process. So they're not listening to me. They don't really understand what I'm saying. Maybe I have to say it a different way, or maybe I just need to not have this conversation or be in the situation right now and go out and play a little bit. Because remember, Leo is very playful energy too. So let your mind play a little bit. Let your words be playful and light if it gets too heavy or it feels as though it's just too frustrating. Now, Saturday all the way into Monday, there's not a major planetary move, but like I mentioned, we have a new moon in Cancer. That's on Monday. And the sun is going to be trining, or excuse me, the sun and moon, they're canoodling, right? Because it's a new moon and in the sign of Cancer, and they're going to be trining Neptune. Now, we're also continuing to keep that vibration of Mars moving into that square, or excuse me, that opposition with Saturn. Well, this new moon is also going to be in late degrees of Cancer, making an opposition to Pluto. So we're going to feel a lot of emotional energy, a lot of push and pull. Throughout the weekend leading into this new moon, there's an ability to take things pretty personally. So just be careful because the moon's at home in Cancer. So it has us feeling, emotional feeling more intensely. Now, this is great, though, if we need to express our love for someone, how we nurture them or how we nurture ourselves. It's also great for helping us look for ways to become more secure in our lives, more secure within ourselves. I would say get to the water if that's what you need to energize you. It's a great time to be with those who are closest to you. So spending this weekend with those that you love, or just some quiet time. It could be, when I say those you love, it could be your fur babies. It could be nature. It doesn't necessarily have to be human beings. Now, with this opposition to Pluto, though, it may have us revisiting some themes from last October when Pluto was sitting in this position. So you can think back to October of 2022 and see what themes were popping up then. If you can't remember, that's okay. Like I say, just come back to the present moment and meet whatever shows up where you are right now. Pause, ground, check in, really get inside of yourself first before reacting or responding. It also, this new moon could have us revisiting or looking at areas of our lives where we felt powerless. With this opposition to Pluto, it could bring up some things that it's like, I don't have any control over this particular situation, or it may be a past situation that I had no control over. And then how do I let go of that need for control and allow whatever has shown up be that teacher? What have I learned from this? You know, you can always do the classical stop, start, continue thing. What do I want to stop now at this new moon? What do I want to start doing? And what do I want to continue to do in a particular area of our lives? And that gives us some sense of control. Again, this new moon can have us highly, highly sensitive. So watch out for taking things too personally or making a situation better than what it really is. And I say that because this new moon is going to be trining Neptune, and it can create a bit of an illusion or deception for us if we're not careful. So if something seems too good to be true, pause and vet it out, because I'm not saying it is too good to be true. But what I will say is it may not be what it appears at that time. And because things do change with situations, with time, with perspective, things like that, you know, a few days down the road after the new moon, we may decide, especially at the full moon at the end of the month, 1st of August, we may decide that's not exactly what I wanted or what I thought it was, that sort of thing. So take your time, vet it out. But I do feel as though this new moon can be very, very sweet. It can be very healing with that trine to Saturn and Pisces. This can be a time where others may come out of the woodwork to just let you know how loved and adored and nurtured you are. So some things just to consider, to pay attention to. And if you need me, you can find me at jamiedawn.com. I look forward to connecting with you, seeing how it goes. Please like, subscribe, share, comment in here. I will respond when I can. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care, everybody.